How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dyson Sphere Program. In the last episode, we finished getting the gravity matrices, and we're kind of actually getting very close to finishing. Well, I don't know if I'd say finishing, but in my opinion, getting to the finish line. Just because we're getting pretty close to finishing out all the researches. Now, there are still a few upgrades we'll need to get, and technically some of them are like an infinite research that we can just continuously research, but excluding those, we should be fine. In terms of the main progression, we only have these left, right? So, I mean, obviously mission complete is here, and that's kind of the end goal, but we are definitely getting close to getting like the universe matrix, and which then allows us to research the mission complete, and then we're effectively done, right? Now I know the devs have said they're going to be coming out with PvP. Well, not really PvP, but PvE, I should say. And they do plan on expanding the tech tree a little bit more as well. A, to include for that, and B, they want to add a little bit more depth into the game. And sure, we could go to other stars, we could expand into that, but we don't really need to, right? I mean, I don't really feel the need to go that route, just because you could, but I think it's mainly for if you're wanting to get like on the leaderboard and kind of contribute to the community stuff, which is really cool. But I don't know. I'm just not super interested in going out that far and doing all those things. So I think for our purpose, we'll probably end the series once we finish mission completed and maybe tidy a few things up. And then, of course, we'll go around and look at all the builds individually and stuff like that, and kind of just talk about some of the different stuff we've done over the course of the series. But that will probably be at least a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how much we can stretch things out, and or really how much things get compressed, because as we do get closer to the goal, the world does get a little bit laggier, for a few reasons. Part of it is all the solar sails, and part of it's some of the other stuff we've built. And so there'll probably be bigger jumps between when I do, or the things I do, instead of me going through and building everything out in an episode. We might see, well, rather, you might see me start the build and then jump all the way past, 3 or 4 more steps of construction and kind of more towards the end goal, just because otherwise, with the lag, it's a bit of a pain, and it's not super bad, but also just the waiting for things to construct is quite time consuming. Quite honestly, I think that's where most of my hours in this game are right now, is just waiting for things to craft, which sure, I could have automated a lot of it, but even then that would still be a lot of waiting time, because some things, like, I'm not going to automate the construction of the launching silos, but we do need to automate the construction of the small carrier rockets. And I did make 3 of the silos. And so let's take a look at the Dyson Sphere. So I kind of have planned out the beginnings of it, as you guys can kind of see. For now, it's just what looks to be a ring. The smaller ring is all the solar sails, but this larger ring is going to be the start of the Dyson Sphere, and it's going to look something like this. And I've already researched the increased tension points, I think is what they were called. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the tech, but basically we're beginning the structure, and then we'll start the cells, and then all the solar sails will start to kind of combine and fill in. It's actually a really cool process. While I was having to do research for this, I kind of looked into it, and it's gonna be very good. So as you can see, we need 1900. I don't know if that's rockets. I think it is, because we've only sent 1 rocket, which is a little bit concerning. Okay, so if that's the case, we need to automate rockets. Now, because rockets aren't science, I can't really calculate a finite per minute. Well, okay, I could. It is possible. We could calculate how many we want to make per minute, but unlike science, where it's an easy, okay, 180 per minute, cool. We're probably just gonna have to make a few things, because the small rockets do use some of those quantum CPUs, which we're currently using to make the graviton matrix, or the gravity matrices. And again, everything's ratioed for that. So if we take some of those for the small, now we could scale some things up. There is some room we could add, and then add a few of these, but already we don't technically really have enough to support what we do have, and part of that reason is we don't have enough hydrogen, but I think that's just because we haven't upgraded the belt for it. So let's go see if we can upgrade the belt for that, because I think we have some blue. Yeah, we have a little bit. Let's see if I can queue up any more. Okay, we'll queue up that much. And then see what we can get. Okay, so that looks good. And I know, actually I don't think all that was upgraded now, because I can see some green off over here. It's actually better when you're flying. I feel like you can really see the belt change. Okay, that oil is full, but I feel like yeah, let's upgrade. Let's upgrade that. And that as well. Yeah, that's gonna help get us more production. I am gonna switch this build over to the recipe for reforming refine, where basically we take a little bit of the oil, we combine it with some of the hydrogen, and we combine it with coal, and we basically get just all oil. So it's gonna take basically the raw oil and then take both those outputs. We're going to add coal to it, and then we're just going to basically convert the coal and the hydrogen into more fuel oil, which we need. So probably what I'll do is I'll keep this build, and then instead of taking its outputs and shipping them over to be used elsewhere, I will then build a secondary build probably over here, or move the water pumps, and then we'll get a lot more fuel oil, hopefully. And then the fuel oil is used for plastics. Hydrogen we're going to get from the ice giant mining, or not the ice giant, but the gas giant mining. And then coal we have not a super high abundance of, but we have basically 8 million that we're not really using. It gets used in the energetic graphite, and I think another thing, but pretty much that's it that I can remember. So we'll be able to use that, and even if we run out here, if we look at our solar system, over here, yeah, we have 400,000. Okay, we actually don't have that much in this system, which isn't good. But I suppose we could head out over to... Yeah, we could head over to another star system that has 18 million coal, and then just ship it back. So I'm not too worried about the coal. We could also do that with the oil as well, ship the oil, but more than likely I'll just ship the coal and do that. But we could also do the oil. So we do have quite a bit of the planet, I feel, not really being utilized. This side of the planet, haven't really touched at all. And then there's an entire section over here that also hasn't. And then sure, we have this large kind of belt. You know, we're almost actually starting to come full circle on the other side. And then I'm trying to think. I think that's it. So the goal for today is going to be really to... I mean, the oil is going to be important, but I want to try to get the rockets. At least I want to get the setup for it, and then we'll kind of backfill how much we need to scale. to it. So we need 2 every 6 seconds. How fast does it produce? It produces 1 every 6 seconds. So we need, basically we need 2. Wow. Okay, so we're going to need 2 assemblers per small rocket carrier production. Awesome. And then don't the silos have a launching speed? I don't think it's an instant firing or launching like the solar sails. I think it's a different amount. It's 5 a minute. Okay. Jeez. So okay, so with 3 of these then, we're launching 15 a minute. So that's 1 every 4 seconds. But each one would be 60 divided by 5. So every 12 seconds we're launching 1. Okay. So 1 assembler can technically support 2 of these. Okay. So it'll make 2 small rocket carriers. I don't know why I'm doing the math for this. There's a calculator for ESP. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and put in a cut while I work out the math for this, and then get some things kind of set up. At least start of it, and then I'll bring you guys back in. So I'll be right back. And we're back. So, I was just looking at a couple things about the Dyson Sphere. So it looks like we kind of have to we can't just build all of it at once. We have to kind of slowly build it out from basically one point, and then it builds off of that, and eventually it builds the whole thing. The cool part about it is there's no like set sphere that we build. You pretty much get to customize it very very uniquely to you, but that also allows it to either be really efficient or really not efficient. I'm just kind of building one made out of hexagons, or at least that's the eventual goal. And I guess we could take a look at that really quick. This, then this, then this. So basically, also the cool part is the painting will, apparently it colors something. I'm not sure. I have not gotten this far, ever. So definitely a fun learning experience there. But basically, I'm using the white triangles to outline where all the hexagons go, and then the blue part is where the actual panels will be, where all the what are their names again? Solar sails. Where the solar sails will basically go in and fill. Again, really cool concept. And to kind of go off a little bit, kind of a side street, Dyson spheres are really cool megastructures in science, because they basically allow you to utilize a star with, again, in theory, 100% of its energy output. But there are some other deeper physics topics that I've seen where people have even theorized that you could harness potentially more energy directly from the star itself, because really the Dyson sphere is just harvesting or utilizing, not necessarily harvesting, all the photons that it releases, but some people theorize that you could utilize the actual plasma and the molten materials that are on a star to a further degree, and basically get an even better return on energy output. Now, of course, to do something like that, you would have to be wickedly advanced civilization, because I think a type 2 or 3 is utilizing a whole star or whole solar system's output. Oh, and actually to kind of highlight that band, so this green area, this green band, default, it's a very narrow, like a very, very narrow strip along the whole kind of axis. You can move the axis around, but realistically, that's just where it is. And then once you get the research, it extends this green. Now, I'm not sure as we build it if this green will expand. I would assume so. I would theorize it would, because there's no further research to expand it. Unless it's a repeatable. Is it a repeatable? It is a repeatable. Okay. I'm just dumb. Okay. So then, yes. So as we research, that green band will expand, and effectively we'll be able to build more and more of the Dyson sphere, which will be good. I'm not sure the difference between the Graticule frame and the geodesic frames, other than one says build frames along the shortest path between 2 points on the spherical surface, and then the gradual is build frames along the gradual grid on the sphere surface. The curvature will be more obvious at high altitudes. If it is a diagonal line, it will change according to the regular pattern of longitude and latitude. I'm going to have to look into these two as to what their actual differences are, and whether or not they're more efficient. It could totally just be what they look like and doesn't really affect performance of the sphere, but I don't know. So I'll have to kind of look into that. Alright, so let's head over here. You don't have any power. Let's give it some power. So I did the math, and originally, yes, we had 3 silos. I took one away so we could have 2. So this one machine is able to support 2 of these machines. I was thinking about adding more, but then it just turned out to be way too expensive in terms of adding all the supporting production we would need. I mean, already we technically don't have... I didn't go through and add the other additional productions we need, but if I were to, it would be a very crazy amount just for 2 of these machines, the amount of production we would need. This thing is insane. And if we actually look at the star map, we can see... Maybe. I don't know if we'll actually be able to see those rockets. I think it's these right here. Maybe. No, maybe those are the Beta Arindis. Maybe it's that one? Yes, I think it is. I wonder if we can see it better on this map. Kind of. So it's going through and it's building these nodes. I don't actually know if we're going to need these nodes, because again, plan and build a Dyson sphere node. Because it looks like it builds nodes for me. So I think that's what it's doing, is it's building the nodes for us, but I don't know. Because if we go here, show the grid, we just need a little bit more, and then we can actually get the first layer built. So I'm actually going to queue this up for research. I know it's going to take a while. Now, okay, it says, oh, it's only going to take 1:43, but we don't have 3,000 gravity matrices because we don't have enough plastics and other things. So I think in the next episode, we're going to look at setting up oil production and kind of fixing it. We're not really setting it up, but fixing it so that we can get that, not regenerative, but just kind of that continuous fuel oil production that we currently don't have. Because, again, I'm also going to look at getting the... I'm trying to think what the word is. Basically, the equivalent to the Factorio beacons set up, these sprays. Because these are going to be would allow us to get more extra products, so 25% for the Mark 3s. I think the Mark 1 is only like 10. Oh, it's 12%, 12.5, then 20. And then it is a little bit of a diminishing return, so we might not even go for the tier 3. I know it's an extra 5%, but even just the jump from the tier 1 to the tier 2 is quite a lot. Interesting. Actually, we can do 20. Oh, wait. I think each one is 24. I mean, okay, it is more worthwhile, I guess, to make Mark 3. Because each one has 24. So basically 48, so we get about 12 more sprays in that versus that. This is a direct upgrade, basically. The Mark II might just be the most worthwhile for us to make. I don't know. I'll have to look into like any sort of ratios for it. Hey, now we're getting both of these firing. And then just have to kind of look at it a little bit more. But I think that's going to be it for today. We were able to get the rockets going, kind of set that up. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys liked today's video, you guys know what to do. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a like on today's video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything you saw, or rather didn't see and want me to go in more detail, please let me know about that. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. See you next time.